Here, these people were hiding their identities, Abhishek Banerjee. These people were hiding their identities. These people were using false names and they were sitting inside somebody's house. The PFI says we are not pushing any of this, but they were doing it under the aegis of the PFI. They were using PFI, the name of the organization. They were actively doing it. And here, this entire agenda is a PFI-driven agenda. That's what what this document is also saying. You and me cannot sit and draft this document, sir. This has got to be somebody who's ideally radicalized, highly devious, and somebody who's tried to figure out how to work this system to try and gather more ground. And a lot of what is being listed in this document is manifest around us. You, me, everybody can see it. They are targeting Muslim entities, Muslim parties. They are going against the Muslim parties, local Muslim parties, trying to cannibalize them. They are working against communities. They are trying to create narratives. And in every facade, they are somewhere or the other, they are involved. Abhishek.
Yeah, Anand, so I'll quickly make some basic observations. The first thing I would say that this document shows is how much closer the threat is than most people realize. You know, if you meet most people in the country, most common people think that, you know, such activities are limited to, let's say, some specific parts of the country. I mean, first of all, it happening anywhere in the country is a problem, but still people have a tendency to think that, you know, they're restricted to some pockets. But this is happening in the heart of Patna. So it is, you know, the threat is not just in some isolated pocket. It is all over the country. It is in the mainstream. It is in the big cities. It's in the small villages. It's everywhere. The second thing that I would say is that what I felt about when I was reading some of the highlights of the document is how clear-headed it is. So they have how to influence people, how to increase their presence, how to make alliances with groups that can be drawn into their circuit. They have a very clear picture of that. So what is happening right now in the country is that one side has a very, very clear idea of what their agenda is, what they want, and how to go about achieving it. But on the other side, what we have is basically woolly-headedness and very low level of awareness. And the third thing that I would say is that the most important thing which I felt about this document was the agenda of radical pan-Islamism on a global level. If you see, they repeatedly talk about Turkey. And, you know, these things are very, very dangerous. The history goes back almost 100 years to the end of World War I, right after the Armenian genocide, when the Khilafat movement happened in India in support of the Ottoman Empire. So this agenda of global with the support of Turkey, this is very, very dangerous. And they clearly have a big vision. They have a big diabolical vision of what they want our country to be. They, you know, so Hinduism is an indigenous-based tradition. It's thousands of years old. And then there is the desire on parts of, you know, of Abrahamic groups to sort of wipe out these indigenous cultures. It's happened on every continent. It's happened in Africa. It's happened in North America, in South America, in Australia. They want to complete the job in India. So we have to be very aware of where the lines are and what the dangers are.
And what's more shocking is that this has multiple threads, and somewhere they all seem to be connected, Atiq or Rehman. Look at Gohar Chisti's arrest. Gohar Chisti's uncle is a member of the PFI, Sarwar Chisti. Gohar Chisti and Sarwar Chisti both have connections with Pakistan. They have both received funds. They are both involved in this entire butchering episode or beheading episode. And somewhere the agenda seems to be the same. What is going to be done? And their intent, this document very clearly says that moderate Muslims and other Muslim outfits need to be wiped out too. We've got to cannibalize everybody and we should be the only one. And our agenda is this. There has to be some way to fix this. Banning an organization doesn't seem to be working because Simi Carter are still active. Atiq ur Rehman.
Well, Anand, this is serious. At the same time, I would say it's not impossible to sabotage their thinking, their mindful, you know, sabotaging the constitution and the ethos of India. What I feel, Anand, is if such document is in the domain of the public now, the security agencies are very much free that they are not a cross-border organization. They are right in India sitting. Their office bearers time and again come in the newspapers and on other social media. The simplest thing what I think is the government, the Home Ministry of the states or the center should call the members of the PFI and the SDPI and talk to them why exactly, what exactly, how they exactly intend to pan-India Islamize the entire length and breadth of the Indian people. And I, in my position, would ask them why exactly they want to Islamize India in the presence of the Indian Constitution, because I feel there is no need. India, the Indian Muslims are very much in a very, very comfortable position as far as the Indian Constitution and the secular ethos of India are in place. So nobody, no Indian, I feel, should have any objection to Islamize India when we are in a comfortable position. And if the office bearers deny that no, we do not believe in the Indian Constitution, we do not believe in the secular ethos of then they should be behind bars and hanged to death.
But here is the case, Atiqur Rehman. These people are turning around saying this is not ours. See, this is what they have, plausible deniability. How do I go ahead and catch an office bearer? Because then the same courts will turn around and say, where is the proof? It's all around us, but we can't prove it. It's like a player has a handkerchief hanging outside the hand. You have the evidence to show that there is something aji-baji going on the field, but you can't prove it in a court of law. Here, this is exactly what's happening. The fix has to come from within society, Atiqur Rehman, and that's where the concern is. The concern is that these outfits are actually getting, they are actually getting a bigger.
24/7, Anand.
See, they are getting
I will
purchased.
assure you, at least in Mumbai, the Muslims are working 24/7 to demolish all.
Sir,
these
my point is that
radical
it should not be
elements.
only Muslims.
And
It
we
has
have
to be the entire
succeeded.
society has to work together. And here is why. And it cannot be limited only to Mumbai.
We need your contribution.
No, what I am trying to say, Atiqur Rehman ji, is see, look at what they're doing. They had a plot to do it across 6 districts in Rajasthan. 40 people had been trained. And somewhere, some of these people are connected with outfits like Dawat-e-Islami and PFI. They are talking to radicals outside the country. But this, my point is, sir, these individuals, even if they are 40 or 300, they don't represent the entire Muslim population in our country. They don't represent India at all. It is not, because they are not even 0.00003%. But what I am saying is 300 people or 3,000 people can wreak havoc across this country. And they can not just defame one particular community, they can defame the entire country. They can bleed the entire country. And when they bleed and when they go out to kill, it's not one person who will die or one community which will suffer. Humanity will suffer, Indians will suffer. So this is a serious problem that we have. Even in this, it smacks of a certain level of politics when it comes to utterances made by certain officials and certain people. That's the problem we have in society, that there is always somebody to give cover fire, Vikram Singh ji. There is somebody who is wanting to deliberately try to counterbalance.
Absolutely, Anandji. For one Mr. Atiqur Rehman, there are 1,000 others who will oppose Mr. Atiqur Rehman and all of us. Mr. Atiqur Rehman agreed is a one-person army. Very laudable, and my salutations to him. India needs more Atiqur Rehman Sahabs. But yes, the danger and the fault lines are very, very obvious, and better that a stitch in time saves 9. It is better that we wake up to the alarming situation. And yes, indeed, as you very rightly said, these 40 to 300 people can create such a havoc and such a misery for the nation, bring a bad name which we certainly do not deserve. As it is, they have brought such a shame to us, which was best avoided. Now is the time to see that what went wrong in Rajasthan, let us not replicate the same story in other parts of the country. And what... Yes,
please
Anandji, but my last sentence is that we should not nip this in the bud. We need to crush it in the bud. Whatever has happened at Patna, the sleeper cells, the ex-Simi cadres, they need to be dealt with a firm hand on a war footing.
Now, here is the problem.